Hello, good morning. Welcome to JoyNews. That's coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlimne. Coming up this morning, traders take over on Quanta Street as the central market is deserted for fear of reprisals in spite of the presence of security. Details as 2 more persons were killed on Sunday, bringing the death toll of this month's clashes to 10. Also this morning, check your own house, not me. President Akufo-Addo tells the Speaker of Parliament as he refuses to accept responsibility for not assenting to the Criminal Amendment Bill, which seeks to criminalize accusations of witchcraft. But why has it taken 3 months for the bill to travel the 4-kilometer road from Parliament to the Jubilee House? We will tell you why. Plus, Trade Minister Katie Hammond reveals he has reached a consensus with a minority to finally lay the import regulation seeking to restrict the importation of 22 items after 3 failed attempts. Details as the Trade Minister refutes claims that passage of the regulation could lead to corruption. And in today's episode of Stories of Hope, we'll tell you about an Eastern Region teacher's innovation solution to ensure no girl in Adoso misses school because of expensive sanitary pads. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Let's settle for the details. Traders in the Quanta South municipality have taken over the main streets for business on Monday, a week after ethnic clashes and imposition of a curfew on the township. Traders argue they do not feel safe at the market despite the heavy presence of security personnel on the grounds. On Sunday, 2 people died from gunshots, giving rise to fears of possible attacks. The killings bring the death toll of this month's clashes to 10. OT regional correspondent Peter Seno has more in the following report.
It is day 8 of the clashes here in the Quanta South municipality and almost a week of the imposition of curfew on them to restrict their movement to cause further mayhem on one another. It's Monday and it is a market day here, but traders have vacated the market, taking over the streets for their safety. They tell JoyNews they do not believe or trust their stay in the market for anybody to hide anywhere and shoot among them just as it happened last week. We have been speaking to a lot more of people to gauge the understanding of how this is affecting education, businesses, and general supply of goods and services.
Previously, we are at the central market, but due to the fighting, we have come to home, still here.
But why didn't you go to the market? Because the police, the soldiers are in.
They are in. As you can see, they are always in their cars. We are afraid. Being there, we don't know what is going to happen. That's why we have come here. This place is a plain place. Anything, you can see it to yourself. We are just pleading with them to come to our aid. These days, even going out is difficult. How to get things for yourself becomes very difficult. So we are pleading with them to come to our aid. If not so, we are even planning to run away.
It's affecting our business so much, very well. Now they are not buying the fish, and moreover too, things are not moving on. And things that we sell less than 100 cedis, people will say 120 cedis, and it's not good. So please, they should do something about it for us.
Great.
We are not safe, so we can't be at the market because we are scared. We don't know what is going to happen. Maybe we will be at the market square and maybe something will happen, so we can't be there.
Gospel fact, we are suffering. Not only we Okada workers, entire community, we are suffering very much because the conflict is between some 2 other and 3 other tribes. But it happens that we, the foreigners, and we, the strangers, are here is worrying us too much. So we are pleading for the stakeholders to come in our behalf, to come and help us. If not, we are suffering too much.
The social life, economical, everything has affected a lot. Prices of things has gone high. As I came with my wife to buy things, the prices have gone high, and a lot of people are not able to come from their villages to send their goods. And we, the teachers too, the students are gone. We are seated at home. Night we are frightened. Maybe we can get some attack, even though we are not involved because we are not the tribe. Those two tribes. Those of us who are there, I think that we thank the government for bringing some police and military men to come secure us. But currently, economically, things have gone high. Things have gone high. And we, those who are having farms, nearby farms, we can't go there to bring our feed stuff to the house. That is our main problem. But we thank God we are still alive.
Education is going to be one of the sufferers of this new episode. Already we have shortage of teachers in the area, and we've all along been praying that we'll be getting more to supplement the effort of education. But with the new episode at Nkwanta South, it is going to retard a lot of educational progress.
The MC for the area, Bright Lemwa, is calling on residents to put down their arms and give peace a chance so that Nkwanta South could go back to its past glory.
My very last and most important message to the people of Nkwanta is to give peace a chance. Like I said earlier on, we are all brothers and sisters. We understand and speak each other's language. It's just a little misunderstanding that is between and among us. Let us sit down. Let us give peace. All the various people that are trying to bring us together, for us to lay down our arms, let us listen to them, and then we want people as we used to be.
So you have heard the residents, their complaints, and what they want authorities to do in the shortest possible time for Nkwanta to go back to its past glory in terms of how businesses thrive here in the municipality. JoyNews. My name is Peter Sanu.
We can now speak with OT regional correspondent Peter Senu, who joins us live with more. Peter, what can you say about security in that area as far as the market people are concerned?
Hi, Aisha. Security, as we witnessed yesterday, it's okay. A number of police personnel have been deployed to Nkwanta municipality. And then we saw quite a number of the Ghana Armed Forces personnel also are deployed to the area as we went to the grounds yesterday to witness. And so the main Nkwanta town relatively is calm. But the worrying situation is that the feuding factions, the ethnic groupings in these disturbances have now moved the fight to the periphery, to the outskirts of the town. So despite the presence of the military, of the police service in town, the fight is not taken outside, which is making it a bit difficult. I can't say difficult though, but it's making it a bit dicey, so as to ensure that there is maximum peace for the town for the peace to be restored to the area. But security is the presence is in now.
The last time we spoke with the regional minister, he assured us that everything was under control. How is he as well as the RECSEG also handling the situation?
Well, our attempt to get to the regional minister has not been successful as to speak. We tried placing a concern, a few messages. So we have not sought his understanding for the present development. But it should be a cause of worry, especially for the music. A lot more. The assembly has been shut down. There's nobody working at the assembly as of yesterday. The MC himself is at his residence, and so the assembly is down. There's nobody there, let alone even to call for a municipal security council meeting. And so it's a cause for worry for all of them, though. But their position is what I should say the MC stated with me yesterday when I spoke with him. Aisha.
Peter Seno is our Oti regional correspondent. Definitely will bring you more from that area as and when we get more. Back here in Accra, the journey from Parliament House to the seat of the Presidency, the Jubilee House, is less than 4 kilometers, and an average vehicle speed will take you less than 5 minutes to reach the Presidency. But it has taken Parliament 3 months to forward the amended Criminal Offences Bill to the President for his assent. The bill passed in August this year prohibits the practice of accusing others of witchcraft and criminalizes the declaration, accusation, naming or labeling of another person as a witch. The goal of the bill is to address the persecution of people accused of witchcraft. But yesterday, Speaker of Parliament and the minority leadership took on the President for refusing to assent to the bill, accusing him of violating the Constitution.
The Criminal Offences Amendment Bill, together with the Witchcraft Bill, was approved by this House months ago. Mr. Speaker, these are bills that I have personally followed, and I'm aware that the bills, after approval, after passage by this House, was sent to the President months ago, Mr. Speaker. It's almost 2 months now. So clearly, Mr. Speaker, there is a constitutional breach, and this House must take steps to deal with the constitutional breach that we have seen on the Criminal Amendment Bill and that of the Witchcraft Amendment Bill. Mr. Speaker, it's important that we take steps to deal with that. Clearly, Mr. Speaker, the Constitution guides us as to what we have to do when the President fails to assent to bills that has been approved by this House. So, Mr. Speaker, we are in your hands so that in the coming days we may have to engage you and then take steps to have this matter resolved.
Well, the Majority Leader Osechi Mensah-Bonsu defended the President, insisting the bill was yet to reach the Presidency.
Of course, the bill has come to be known as the Witchcraft Bill. The Parliament has passed it, and it was done in July. And ordinarily, it should have been sent to the President for his assent. I must state emphatically that those bills have not been sent to the President for his assent. The Speaker knows about it. And I'm surprised that he came and this address made it appear as if the President was trampling on the Constitution. Nothing can be further from the truth. And going through, I realized that there were major challenges, things that Parliament ought to have paid attention to. Unfortunately, I don't know whether it was because you're rushing through, you did not pay attention to them. So when I looked at them, I invited our officers at the legislative unit and drew their attention to them. Because when I looked at them, I made some comments. For instance, the head note raises issues to do with, more or less professional witchcraft hunters. Who's a professional witchcraft hunter? Right? I mean, that in itself is problematic. And then there were so many areas that there were clear challenges. Now, do you send that bill in that state to the President for his assent only for it to be for it to come back, or maybe for the President in the process of assenting to it to chance upon these mistakes and send them back to us? Is that what you want to do? There's a third one that has gone to the President. That is also another Criminal Offences Amendment Bill. But that one has some constitutional issues. You know, the Constitution provides that a bill, if a bill that is going to exact on the consolidated fund, it cannot be entertained in the House if it is not sponsored by the executive. Now, that bill relates to commuting executions to life sentences. If the courts pronounce that somebody must be executed, and then you are saying that that person should not be executed, you'll be sent to prison, maybe for life. Who takes care of that person? It's the state, right? So the state then is going to have to spend money from the consolidated fund on.
So there the president is responding to the subject. My colleague Elton Broby joins us with more from the presidency. Elton, what exactly does the president's statement say?
So, Aisha, there are two statements here from the president. One is a letter that was written to the secretary to the president from the clerk of parliament. So the president's statement on this matter is a press release. And it says that dated November 28th, that's today, the office of the president has noted recent media reports suggesting that the president has declined to assent to the Criminal Offences Amendment Number 2 bill, a legislative measure aimed at amending the Criminal Offences Act 1960. Indeed, the Speaker of Parliament, Bagbin, is reported on Monday, 27th November, to have rebuked President Akufo-Addo over silence on the Criminal Amendment Bill. Now, the statement goes on to say that it is important at the onset that amendment is specifically designed to outlaw the roles of witch doctors or witch finders, in addition to prohibiting the act of declaring, accusing, naming, or labeling an individual as a witch alongside other related matters. Contrary to the claims made in these reports by the Speaker of Parliament and the Minority Caucus in Parliament, President Akufo-Addo has not remained silent on the bill. And they have a question: how could the Speaker of Parliament accuse the President of remaining silent on a bill when it was specifically and officially presented to him on Monday, November 27, 2023, the same day the Speaker made the accusations? Indeed, the bill was officially presented to the President for his assent, together with the Wildlife Resources Management Bill and the National Petroleum Authority Amendment Bill, under cover of a letter dated 27 November, and the reference here is provided. It is inaccurate, according to the Presidency, that a bill has been sitting on the decks of the President without receiving the due attention. President Akufo-Addo, according to the statement, affords him 7 days, as per the Constitution, to review and give his assent to any bill presented to him. In the light of this constitutional provision, it is important to note that the President is still well within the legally stipulated time frame to make a decision regarding the bill. During this period, the President, according to the statement, may examine the bill and, if necessary, convey any concerns or suggestions he might have regarding the content to the President. The Office of the President assures the public and the media that the bill, including his current bill, the Criminal Offences Amendment, have been attended to with the ordinary respect for constitutional mandates and legislative processes. And this is signed by the Director of Communications at the Presidency, Regina.
So what next now that the President has received the bill?
Well, actually, if you go through the President's statement that's signed by the Director of Communication, he mentioned, for example, that the President received the bill yesterday through the office of the Secretary from the Clerk of Parliament. They have provided a letter that came from the Clerk of Parliament. It's also dated the 27th of November, 2023, and the content says that please find enclosed 8 copies each of the following bills which were passed by Parliament and duly authenticated by me for assent by His Excellency the President. And the bills are the Criminal Offences Amendment Bill, Wildlife Resources Management Bill, and the National Petroleum Authority Bill. And this is signed by the Clerk to Parliament, Ebenezer, the Deputy Clerk, Ebenezer Ahoma Jetro, presented to the Secretary to the President yesterday. Now, per the Constitution, the President has 7 days to study the bill, and if he's comfortable with it, he will sign on to it, and it will not become law. If the President has any reservation at all, we'll have to put it in writing and then refer it back to Parliament for them to sit and go through the concerns of the President. And then if Parliament is so minded to put it before the House for consideration, they will do so, and then return it to the President for his assent. So there may be a back and forth, but whatever it is, the President is within the constitutionally mandated 7 days within which to go through the bill, if he has concern, raise them, and then take it back to the House.
Any idea what might have caused a delay in sending the bill to the President, Elton?
Well, it's very unclear. Perhaps the clerk office can best explain, but from my experience as a parliamentary correspondent, usually when a bill is passed, and as it's custom with parliamentary parties, even after every day's proceedings, the next day is dedicated to the correction of votes and proceedings, and then they'll move on to correct the official reports maybe the previous week. So it is always fine-tuned. So once the bill is passed, the clerk's office responsibility is to ensure that everything that was said on the floor and everything that was accepted and approved on the floor is incorporated into the bill. And then when that is done, the clerk will then have to present to the leadership for them to go through that. If there are corrections, they are effected. If there is none, that is where the clerk will now put it together and then with a letter attached, send it to the office of the president for the president assent. And then if the president has no concerns to raise, and once he signs, it goes to Assembly Press, they do the gazetting, and it becomes a law. So they may have been back and forth regarding comments, issues that were raised on the floor that may have that took time for them to incorporate into the bill. Or better still, maybe the clerk's office is overwhelmed with a lot of issues on the desk that come in delay. But whatever it is, according to the correspondence as we have it, the bill was officially presented to the Secretary to the President yesterday, Monday, 27th November. The President has indicated that he has 7 days as per the constitutional mandate to go to review it and then communicate his consent to Parliament if he's so minded.
Elton Brobe, with that, the details from the statement from the presidency. I've also been joined by Lamnatu Adams of Song Taba. I'm grateful for your time, Madam. I know how important this law is to you. How does it come across to you that since August after its passage into law, the president only received it yesterday for assent?
Thank you very good morning to our viewers. I think it's the same question that came to us when I read the Director of Communication. I was asking myself whose responsibility it is to make sure that the bill got to the president, and also whose responsibility was it to make sure that they made follow-up. And so if we did not know whose responsibility was it and whose responsibility it was to make a follow-up, then there is a challenge there. And the question we ask ourselves is it that this bill is of no interest? Because I remember in this whole years of our engagement, especially in this year, we have continuously engaged the gender ministry. And it was clearly that the issues around witchcraft was the ministry's priority. And so this has come as the surprise that the bill is just getting to the presidency. And so I don't want to be part of the argument. Apart from the question that we, the Coalition Against Witchcraft Accusation, are asking, we are also demanding that the president should, as a matter of agency, bill and make the comments that they think is necessary. But it is our hope that we would have had this bill passed within these 16 days of activism, especially as we are calling on putting investment around protecting vulnerable groups, women and children. And so, Aisha, this is of a serious concern to us. If issues around witchcraft accusation is not prioritized to this extent, then it's so sad.
Now that the thing has reached the president for assent, what are your expectations, Lamnatu?
Well, like I said, the expectation is that the president should quickly look at it. I heard the majority leader say there are some concerns. So the team should quickly look at it. And I think that should be a major issue that should take the president time. And like I said, we are demanding that at least in this period of the 16 days of activism, which is around gender-based violence, the president should please send his signature to this bill for us.
I'm grateful for your time. She's Executive Director of Song Taba, and they've been really hard on Parliament to pass this bill into law. Let's see how that pans out now that the President has received that bill passed into law. Now, over 4,000 basic education certificate examination candidates have been placed into various schools following a successful completion of the exam some 3 months ago. The highly anticipated system went live, marking a crucial step in streamlining the placement process for students transitioning to senior high schools across the country. This system not only eases the anxiety for students and their families, but also enhances the transparency and fairness of the placement process. However, over 108 students could not be matched and have been advised to do a self-placement. Cassandra Chumampofo is Public Relations Director at the Ghana Education Service. She'll be joining us shortly for a conversation on this. One of the things we'll be asking is how smooth this has been, what people should do when they have problems, and she'll be telling us all of that if we are able to reach her. I'm told Cassandra Chum has joined us now. Cassandra, grateful to have you. How smooth was this year's placement process? Right, we lost Cassandra there. Let's get on to other stories. The Trade Minister, Katie Hammond, has revealed that he has reached consensus with a minority to finally lay the import regulation seeking to restrict the importation of rice, cow, stomach, and 20 other items. The legislative instrument has met fierce opposition from the minority, who have 3 times blocked its laying in Parliament. Speaking in an exclusive interview with JoyNews, the Trade Minister says the two sides have finally come to an agreement. We'll be bringing you the sound of Katie Hammond shortly and also get some reactions shortly for you. But let's go back to our earlier story on school placement, because Cassandra Chum, who is Public Relations Officer at the Ghana Education Service, has joined us. Cassandra, how smooth has this year's placement process been? Hello, Cassandra.
Hello, good morning.
Tell me about how the placement has been this year.
Thank you so much, and good morning to all your viewers. Yes, it's been quite a smooth process. We received the data from WAEC after the release of the results, and then we began our placement processes. And today we've gone live, and then out of the 598,839 results received from WAEC, we had 585,797 candidates that qualified. And so when we did our algorithm, we had a total of 477,772, representing 81.56. And I must say that there's a significant improvement compared to last year's figures. And we've had over 100,000 candidates getting schools of their choices this year. And so, but we still have about 108,025 qualified candidates that, again, could not be matched with any of their choices. And so such candidates will have to go through the self-placement model, where we have uploaded many schools that still have vacancies. In fact, we have enough vacancies, and so such students would have to do the self-placement themselves. And so I would say that it's been a smooth process. And yes, even though we have had concerns this morning that they will be going on the 4th of December, or registration or orientation begins on the 4th of on the 4th of December, and yet we have released with the placement today. For us, we believe that we set the prospectus ahead of time. We published this, and then we made parents and schools aware of the prospectus, and so we knew that at least parents have started some form of preparation, especially those that knew they would go to the boarding house, began buying their stuff. And so yes, even though we recognize that it's quite a short time of the sort, we had already put the prospectus way ahead, and this time we have a harmonized prospectus, and so you wouldn't have schools having different protectors that would create problems. We have one for all. And so, you know, it's been a smooth process, and we thank God that we have.
Cassandra, so the 108,000 people who could not be matched with their schools, what happened?
What happened? Because, you know, our system is such that you cannot be placed in a school that you have no children. And so, if, you know, this year, for instance, again, we asked the candidates to select 11 schools. They are normal 6 schools, and then they added another 5, so that in case you do not get any of your 6 schools out of merit, you will then fall on the 5 choice. It therefore means that these, this 108,025 did not get any of the 11 schools based on merit. And I must say that this 120 is just a minimal number compared to what we had last year. Last year we had 165,619 candidates that did self-placement. So it tells you that there has been improvement. Indeed, they have done well. And so we have these few numbers. And I want to use the opportunity to assure all such candidates who would fall within the self-placement system that we have a number of schools uploaded. They shouldn't worry. We only want them to go onto the portal because we cannot choose the schools for them. They have to self-place themselves into a school.
So where can people go if they encounter difficulties?
Yes. As usual, we have set up our National Solution Center at the NAD Hall at Abaka. Again, we also have our Regional Solution Center in all our regional offices. Those that are in far districts can also get to their district offices, and then we have our officers that would also put together the concerns so they would forward to the Regional Solution Center and will be solved. Nonetheless, we also have our call center number, and this goes for all GES and institutions, and so 030-825-8001. Parents, candidates can also call, and we'll be there to help them explain issues or help them address their concerns.
And as we speak, Cassandra, I'm hearing that the page is people are not able to access the page so they can check their placement. Is there a general problem?
There's not a general problem at all. And you know, we went barely an hour ago, and it's expected that you have a number of people waiting to get into the system. It's just like opening a door, a smaller door, probably asking about 200 or 300 people to get through the smaller door. Definitely there'll be some people. We ask them to exercise patience, definitely they will get through. And Joy, at your end, Fred is one separate example. Fred Smith, whose daughter just got in. I mean, he just checked and gave us the feedback, and the daughter has gotten what's his girl on merit, you know. So people are checking, people are getting through. Of course, we acknowledge that some are also having difficulties, but we should exercise patience, definitely they will get through. It's just because of the rush. Everyone at this particular point in time wants to get in. It will definitely go through for them.
Before you go, though, let me ask you this. There were allegations of providing infested rice to schools by the minority last week. How far with your investigations into the matter?
Thank you so much for this question, Aisha. You know that yesterday I was particularly tasked to call all the regional directors of education to engage their heads and to report. And let me tell you that none of the regional directors gave us the information that they have received, or any of their schools within their regions have received a bag, even a single bag of maggot-infested rice. And so we do not know where that report was coming from. But their investigations, which I personally did, we didn't find any. So that is false.
All right, I'm grateful for your time. Cassandra Chum Ampofo, she's Head of Public Relations Unit at the Ghana Education Service. Let's get on to our earlier story where Minister for Trade and Industry, K.T. Hammond, is revealing that he has reached consensus with the minority to finally lay the import regulation seeking to restrict the importation of rice, cow stomach, and 20 other items. The legislative instrument has met fierce opposition from the minority, who have 3 times times blocked its laying in Parliament. Speaking in an exclusive interview with JoyNews, the Trade Minister says the two sides have finally come to an agreement. He has also refuted claims that the legislation instrument could lead to corruption.
There's nothing before Parliament.
No, of course. I mean, of course, I know because but the pre-laying conversations have happened. So your colleagues have it, and that's where I got this one. When was this clause added?
I'm not sure. It was always there. It was always there. I'm not sure why. I tell you what, I don't know where you got
this from. But it's a fair question. When was this?
No, it's always been there. It was always, look at the other one. Two, I just told you about the one that they thought they were interested and later on shifted their interest, the cement one.
We'll come to the cement one, substantively.
There, so I don't know
but my substantive question remains.
It's always been there.
My substantive question remains. Yes. You're actually saying that, again, within the confines of the act, you are the final authority. Of course, the courts then have to now decide whether you're right or not.
Administratively, somebody would have to be the authority to make a decision. In this case, it's double-layered. The committee and then to the minister. You're not happy with the minister's decision, go to court.
But why do you want to create that avenue for the minister to have that level of discretion, which obviously from our history leaves room for you to be manipulated?
That's a support that remember
that beyond you there'll be ministers beyond you who have to enforce this.
Why are you looking at relocating? Okay, let's talk about the minister. But why
this is institutional.
No, absolutely. But why do you think that this is an embodiment of corruption?
You may be a saint.
No.
You may be a saint, but somebody may occupy your seat tomorrow.
Claim to be a saint.
No, somebody may occupy your seat tomorrow.
And that person cannot lay claim to infallibility. But nobody is going to access this and be able to thereby corrupt themselves. I mean, what do you make of the reference to the court? I mean, I don't understand.
But this country, it goes without saying that the ultimate decision makers, Mr. Ketia, you know you're a lawyer, so you know, even if Parliament decides, the ultimate deciders are always a court. So actually this clause is just stating the obvious. That in all circumstances, if you're dissatisfied with any decision of any entity, you can go to court. You have recourse to court. But the fact that you stated it here,
if you're conscious of the fact that the addition has nothing to it, then why were you hammering on the fact that, well, it isn't on your document and that place avenue?
Your point is?
My point is this: it was on the strength of this that I proceeded to lay the document the day after.
But we've heard the minority leader say that they oppose.
That's what I call duplicity. This is the committee that I was compelled, contrary to the demands of the regulations, demands of the Constitution and the standing orders, to go before, to explain myself. And this is their report to the minority leadership. And then they come back to tell me that, well, they don't know that, whatever.
This was on the 22nd.
That was a conversation with Evans Mensah yesterday. Industry players are, however, remaining divided over their support for the regulation. Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association, John Awuni, describes the minister's statement that they have been consulted as untrue. He joins us live for a conversation. John Awuni, I'm grateful for your time. The minister insists that you guys have been consulted, and you say he didn't?
Good morning, Aisha, and good morning to your viewers and listeners. It's quite unfortunate that the minister will speak on public and declare that we have been consulted. Aisha, the minister is a lawyer. Giving out information to people is different from consultation. Consultation, by my understanding, is giving out your idea of a subject matter and listening to the receiver, his also idea. Then you will all dialogue and come to a consensus. Indeed, if we were consulted, Aisha, we will not come out and be speaking the way we speak. We don't even have to come out. Do we or all the groups, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Food and Beverage Association, Ghana Chambers, Ghana Importers and Exporters Association, Ghana Automobile Association, Ghana Institute of Free for all the business groups in this country, do we sound like people who were consulted? No. Clearly, we were not consulted. And if we were consulted, me, to be part of this document will not come out like this. I have too much expertise in the industry to allow a document like this to go to Parliament. A document that goes to Parliament seeking to restrict imports, seeking to ban importation of certain products. Yet, there is nothing on the ground. There is no logic on the ground to point to the fact that you have put things in place.
The man says they are not banning the importation of products. They are restricting. He wants us to stick with that word.
Yes, we can restrict with that word. It is just the issue of semantics. If you want to restrict imports, how does a nation or does an individual restrict imports without providing alternatives? You want to restrict imports. Who is producing of sugar? Who is producing sugar in Ghana? Maybe it is the minister and his cronies who now want to start importing sugar. Who is the producer of sugar in this country? That sugar is on the list. You want to restrict rice. Who and who are the producers of rice? Who are the wholesalers of the rice? Who are the retailers of the rice? O-level economics, which I did, or O-level commerce, which I did, taught me that production is not complete until it reaches the final consumer. Now, for a system like this or for an LI like this to go before Parliament, you would have needed as a minister to put in place identifiable producers, link these producers to the wholesalers, wholesalers to the retailers, and then you identify, that is step number one. Step number two, you identify at what price these producers are going to produce, and at what price will it be at the final consumer, so that the consumer will not be abused or will not be hurt. Number three, what quantities will these producers be producing over what period to enable the wholesalers plan? I'm giving simple, just free consultancy to the minister. There's a lot we can do. I could never have been part of this document and to be like this, with all humility. I have had so much experience in the industry over 20 years. As a consultant, as a researcher, as the president of the Ghana Rights Interprofessional Body, could never have been part of this document for this document to come out like this. Indeed, Aisha, it is important for every country to work at strategies to improve upon its production, to improve upon its self-sufficiency. Indeed, wholesalers or the importers of all those products listed will be very happy to buy their goods locally, because clearly they will have nothing to do with foreign exchange volatilities. You don't have to buy a product and then tomorrow the exchange rate changes and then you are in trouble. So we will all be very happy about that. But you cannot send an LI of such magnitude to Parliament when you have clearly done nothing on the ground. It defies logic. He is the lawyer, and law is about logic. So what he's carrying out there, there's no logic in it, because you have done nothing on the ground. Let him tell us the farmers he dealt with. Let him tell us the farmers, what quantities those farmers, whether they are poultry, whether they are rice, whether they are cables, whether they are tiles, they are goats, produce, whatever.
Well, the minister intends to lay the LI again in Parliament in spite of all the resistance. I mean, what has become of your petition to Parliament?
It's a shame that a minister, he will continue to insist on a wrong that he has done. Clearly, when I listened to Parliament, when they rejected it for the first, they told him that go back and do consultations with the key stakeholders. Has he done that? Has he contacted GUTA? Has he contacted Food and Beverage Association? Has he contacted the Chamber of Agric Farmers? There is a chamber led by one Philip Abayor. Has he contacted that chamber? Who has that minister contacted, and he's going back to Parliament? I heard that he just so he stood in some corner and canceled cement. It is in Parliament that he even realized that cement, we don't even need to import cement. Cement is not necessarily to be restricted. But it's in the chamber. So this man has gone to consult nothing. Maybe there is something driving him beyond the interests of the ordinary Ghanaian.
But he showed us a document. He showed us a document, Mr. Awuni, that shows that I mean, the GUTA, Chamber of Commerce, and other of your groups are part of that committee that will determine who brings in such product.
It is not part, Aisha. We are talking professional, number one. If it says, show that this document will be part. Listen, you don't restrict something. Aisha, your husband, if you are married, your husband cannot come home and say that, don't cook rice in the house again, when the woman has not given you something alternative. The man is leaving home for work and tells you that in the evening, don't cook rice. So what should I cook? And what you should cook, it should be available. What we are saying is that this minister and those people who are pushing for this policy have done nothing. I heard him in the interview saying that Zoom Lion has promised to produce rice by December. As it is now, he has not produced because we haven't restricted. Does Zoom Lion need restrictions of rice before he can produce? If Zoom Lion wants to produce rice and he's not sure about marketers, he should see me. I will link up producers and marketers to him, and he will buy. We don't need to restrict rice before they will buy. He will produce. Let them go ahead and produce. I brought in investors in the year 2004 to produce sugar in this country. This investor said they should increase tariffs in this country so they can produce sugar. His Excellency the President, John Akufo-Addo, said he will not do that until they prove their work on the ground. We repeated the same investors with His Excellency the late President Atamils. Atamils said no, he will not do it until they prove their work on the ground. We repeated that with His Excellency John Mahama. He said he will not do it until they prove their work on the ground. Which manner of man goes to war without first counting, checking his strength? The minister is going to war, saying that he's going to restrict imports, and he has not even counted the cost of it.
I'm grateful for your time. John Awuni is Executive Director of the Food and Beverages Association. They say they will resist this ally with all that they can. Let's take a break on JoyNews Desk. When we return, it's business.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Chief Executive of the Volta Aluminum Company, VALCO, Daniel Titus Glover, says the well-being of flood victims will be too huge for a particular entity to shoulder. He says the magnitude of the Akufo-Addo Dam spillage disaster requires both state and non-state actors to do their bit in ensuring affected persons do not lose out. Daniel Titus Glover made this known at Adidome in the Volta region, where the company presented relief items to flood victims. Tama correspondent Kwame Yanka has more.
Of empathy for flood victims following overflow of the Volta River upstream and those downstream directly impacted by the spillage of the Akufo-Addo Dam is inevitable. For Volta Aluminum Company, VALCO, the impact of the spillage hits at a different level, as the company uses over 20% of power produced by the Volta River Authority. The aluminum smelter feels obliged to help these victims after presenting bags of rice, oil, baby food, mosquito repellents, among other relief items at Adidome in the Central Tong district of the Volta region. Daniel Titus Glover is the Chief Executive Officer of VALCO.
Normally, we're supposed to produce 5 cell lines, and each line contains 100, but currently we are producing just 121, which is quite low. But notwithstanding that, we're still using power that is produced from Akufo-Addo. Therefore, directly we have a stake in this problem that has come. VRA alone cannot show that this responsibility. Government alone cannot show that this responsibility. That is why we have come as a company, from our board and everybody, the union executives here, to come and commiserate with our friends and family here. You know, my part is from here too. Okay. And my part is from Jalokope, Danglong line. My great-grandmother, my mother's grandmother, is from here. So I'm equally touched.
Chair of the Senior Staff Association at VALCO, Samuel Ando, says the company has the flood victims at heart.
Yeah, so the reason why we are here this morning is to come and show our love to our brothers who have been affected by the spillage. So we are here with the some members of the executive management team, that is our CEO and some of our directors. We are also here with some of our union executives and members and some other management of VALCO to come and support our brothers who have been affected by the floods. We presented some boxes of oil and mosquito repellent and some rice and toiletries to the affected people in this community, and some baby foods, and some clothes.
Meanwhile, Deputy Director of National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Seji Saji, expressed gratitude after receiving the donation. He then explained that NADMO, together with other stakeholders, are at the recovery stage of the disaster management cycle, as we continue to need more support for relief administration.
Okay, so in the recovery stage, we are also doing an assessment as to the extent of contamination of those particular areas that have been affected. And the UN Interagency Working Group is partnering organizations such as the Ghana Institute of Engineers, EPA, NADMO, VRAs, and all others to make sure that they propose solutions for us to go ahead and do decontamination, disinfectation, fumigation, and also look at the structural integrity of the buildings as well, so that the place will be habitable for affected persons to move back in.
VALCO has appealed for support for flood victims in all affected areas.
And that's it for this segment. The news returns after the break.